Every night, something ancient awakens within you. When the world grows quiet and your body lies still, the conscious mind loosens its grip. The masks you wear during the day, productivity, confidence, fear, ambition begin to dissolve. And beneath them, something far more powerful takes over. This is not rest. This is not emptiness. This is the doorway. What you think, feel, and imagine before sleep does not simply fade into darkness. It sinks. It descends into the deepest layers of your psyche, where habits are formed, identities are shaped, and destinies quietly take root. Most people surrender this moment to distraction. They scroll. They worry. They replay the same anxieties night after night. But those who understand the mind know this truth. The final thoughts before sleep are instructions to the unconscious. Tonight, you will learn how to give better instructions. Right before you fall asleep, something powerful happens inside you, and most people do not. They treat it like the moment over to their phone, to noise, to stress, to fear. But that moment, right there, is not small. It is sacred. It is the moment. It gets tired, and the deeper mind steps forward, the part of you that not debate, does not argue, does not question, but listen, absorbs, and builds your future from whatever you. There's no fear from whatever you're feeding. You see, during the day, your mind is loud, it is busy, it is fighting distractions, responsibilities, opinions, pressure, expectations. Everybody wants something from you, and your mind stays on defense. But when the lights go off and the room gets quiet, the guard drops, the walls come down, and the mind of our enter comes wide open, and whatever enters at that time does not just visit, it stays. Science backs this up. When you are close to sleep, your brain shifts gears, it slows down, it moves into waves that are connected to learning, memory, emotion, and identity. This is the same mental space where habits are formed and beliefs are locked, and that means the thoughts you entertain at night are not casual. They are commands you are literally programming yourself for tomorrow without realizing it. That is why some people wake up tired even after sleeping 8 hours, because they went to bed stressed, angry, defeated, replaying losses, replaying disrespect, replaying moments where they felt small, their body rested, but their mind went to war all night long. And when you do that consistently, your unconscious mind starts to accept struggle as normal, stress as home fear, as identity. Let me say this clearly: your mind before sleep is not joking around, it is not playing games, it is listening carefully, and it is taking notes. Think about the student who goes to bed every night telling himself, I am not smart enough, I always mess up, I never get it right. He does not need a teacher to fail him anymore, because his own mind has already accepted that story, and once the unconscious accepts a story, it works there. Night proved true opportunities get missed or collapses. And then this person is always in the forward, you are always fail. Now really wait for it. We the men, we know. Or more and you before. Now flip that picture, look at an athlete who lies in bed and sees himself winning, not hoping, not wishing, but seeing it, feeling it, breathing it. He runs the race in his mind, he hears the crowd, he's the strength in his body, and even though he's lighting his steering the same pathways as the real or activity has shown mental or physical training action in mental training, not really familiar with success, not should be and prepared for it. And here is the part most people miss: your unconscious mind does not argue with you. It does not say, it does not push back, it does not fact check, it simply records. Whatever you repeatedly give it, especially when you are tired, especially when you are emotionally, when you are about sleep, it tapes that message and says, this must be important, let it build reality around this. So if every night you tell yourself life is hard, people are against me, I never get a break, guess what your mind says, understood, and then it goes to work finding evidence, proving, it's shaping your perception, filtering your experiences until that belief feels like truth, not because it was true, but because it was repeated. This is why nighttime self-talk is dangerous when it is negative, and unstoppable when it is intentional. You cannot afford to drift into sleep on autopilot. You cannot afford to let random thoughts decide who you become, because repetition creates identity, and identity creates behavior, and behavior creates results. Ask yourself honestly, what do you say to yourself when nobody is watching, when the lights are off? When the world is quiet, do you rehearse your pain, or do you rehearse your power? Do you replay what hurt you? Or do you prepare for what you are becoming? Because whatever you feed your mind in that moment becomes law inside you. And listen, this is not about lying to yourself. This is not about fake positivity. This is about understanding that your mind is a tool, and tools work, whether you use them correctly or not. A hammer, to not judge, it just hits where you swing at your mind, is the same way it builds whatever image you hold longest and deepest. Some of you are tired not because you are doing too much, but because you are thinking wrong. Before rest, you are loading your subconscious with fear and expecting confidence in the morning. You are planting doubt at night and praying for courage at sunrise. It does not work like that. You do not plant weeds and expect fruit. You have to take control of that final moment. Before sleep, you have to decide that tonight will not be a replay of yesterday, but a rehearsal. For tomorrow, you have to slow down your breathing, quiet your body, and speak to yourself with intention, not noise. If all you can say at first is, I am still here, I am still trying, I have not quit yet, that is enough, because strength grows from repetition, not perfection. If you can picture yourself standing tall, imaking wecken life is it, do it. If you can imagine up with energy, do it. If you can heal yourself, hand calm, do it. Because the unconscious learns through emotion, not log. Through emotion, not log it. And do not underestimate small words said with feeling. One sentence repeated night after night can change the direction of a life. I am capable, I am learning, I am becoming stronger. These are not just words at night, they are seeds, and seeds grow in darkness first. Most people wait for motivation to change their thoughts, but the truth is, before sleep, create the motivation you wake up with. You do not wake up inspired by accident. You program that inspiration the night before. So tonight, before you close your eyes, pause. For a moment, respect the power of that space. Choose your words, Kelly. Choose your images carefully, your tone carefully, because your unconscious mind is listening closely, and it is getting ready to build your future. Whatever you give it now, listen to me for a moment. This part right here can change everything if you let sink in. Most people talk to themselves the wrong way, especially at night. They try to bully their own mind. They try to shout confidence into a place that does not respond to shouting. They try to order peace like it is a switch. Be confident. Stop being afraid. Get it together. But the deeper mind does not move like that. It does not respond to force. It does not respond to pressure. And it definitely does not respond to insults disguised as motivation. The deeper mind is not a soldier waiting for commands. It is a storyteller. It is an artist. It is a dreamer. And if you want it to change, you have to speak its language. Think about your dreams. Nobody stands in your dream and gives you a lecture. Nobody pulls out a checklist and tells you what to fix. Dreams show you things. They give you images. They give you feelings. They give you stories that stay with you long after you wake up. That is how the deeper mind communicates. Through symbols, through emotion, through experience. So when you lie down at night and you start telling yourself, I must be successful, you think you are helping, but you are not. That sounds like pressure. That sounds like fear. That sounds like you are already behind. The deeper mind hears that and tightens up. It feels chased. It feels threatened. And when the deeper mind feels threatened, it resists. It shuts down. It protects itself. But when you show it something, everything changes. Instead of saying, I must be successful, imagine yourself walking through a storm. The rain is heavy, the wind is loud, but you are calm. Your steps are steady. Your clothes are dry. You are not rushing. You are not panicking. You are moving forward with control. That image tells the deeper mind something powerful. It says, I can move through difficulty without breaking. It says, pressure does not own me. It says, I am built for this. Instead of saying, I need to stop overthinking, imagine yourself taking off a heavy backpack. You feel the weight leave your shoulders. Your chest opens. Your breathing slows. You stand up straighter. No words, no commands, just relief, just release. The deeper mind understands that instantly. It does not argue with the image. It accepts it. This is important because most of your struggles are not logical problems. They are emotional patterns. And emotional patterns do not change through arguments. They change through experience. The deeper mind learns by feeling, not by force. Let me make this real for you. There was a man who struggled with anxiety for years. Not the kind you just shake off. The kind that grabs your chest. The kind that makes your heart race for no clear reason. The kind that shows up at night when the world is quiet. He tried everything. He told himself to calm down. He told himself there was nothing to fear. He told himself he was safe. None of it worked, because his deeper mind did not believe words anymore. So he stopped fighting it. Every night before sleep, he imagined himself standing at the edge of the ocean, not swimming, not fighting the waves, just standing, watching the waves rise and fall. They came in strong. They pulled back, over and over, and he did nothing. He did not try to control them. He did not try to stop them. He just watched. Over time, something changed. The panic did not disappear overnight, but it softened. It lost its grip. His deeper mind learned a new lesson. Fear can come and go, and I do not have to chase it. I do not have to fight it. I can stand still and survive it. That lesson did more than years of commands ever could. That is the power of symbols. Symbols bypass resistance. They do not trigger defense. They go straight to the core. They slip past the guard and speak directly to the part of you that actually runs your habits, your reactions, your identity. This is why telling yourself to be confident rarely works. Confidence is not a switch. It is a feeling of familiarity. And familiarity is built through repeated inner experiences. When you repeatedly see yourself calm under pressure, your mind starts to accept that as normal. When you repeatedly feel steady in the storm, your nervous system learns a new baseline. You are not trying to convince yourself. You are training yourself, and training takes repetition. Every night you get a chance to rehearse who you are becoming, not with speeches, not with harsh words, but with images that feel real, images that feel safe, images that feel strong. Some of you have been talking to yourselves like an enemy. You go to bed angry at yourself, disappointed in yourself, threatening yourself with tomorrow. You think that pressure will push you forward, but pressure without safety breaks people. It does not build them. The deeper mind needs permission. It needs space. It needs a picture it can move toward instead of a whip behind it. When you imagine yourself handling life with calm, you are not avoiding reality. You are preparing for it. When you imagine strength, you are not pretending. You are practicing. And practice shapes performance. Athletes know this. Performers know this. High achievers know this. They do not just train their bodies. They train their inner images. They see success before they touch it. They feel control before chaos shows up. They make the unfamiliar familiar. And you can do the same thing. Before sleep, stop commanding yourself. Stop saying tomorrow I will be different like it is a threat. Start suggesting. Start showing your mind a better way to exist. Show yourself waking up with steady breath. Show yourself speaking clearly under pressure. Show yourself pausing instead of panicking. Show yourself walking forward even when it is hard. You do not need to force confidence. You need to introduce it gently. Night after night, image after image, your deeper mind is always listening, always learning, always shaping you. The question is, what language are you using when you speak to it? If you change the language, you change the lesson. And if you change the lesson, you change the life. Let me tell you something new tonight, because this is where a lot of people lose power without knowing it. Every single night when you lay your head down, your mind does not shut off. It goes to work, quiet work, deep work. Work that shapes who you are becoming. Your unconscious mind reviews your day like a film. Scene by scene, moment by moment, emotion by emotion. And if you do nothing, it will replay the same scenes that hurt you, the same moments that embarrassed you, the same situations where you froze, doubted yourself, or felt small. Not to punish you, but to learn from them. The problem is what it learns is often the wrong lesson. When the mind replays mistakes without guidance, it strengthens shame. When it replays fear without resolution, it strengthens fear. When it replays silence where you want it to speak, it strengthens self-doubt. And then you wake up the next day carrying weight you never meant to keep. You feel tired even before the day starts. You feel hesitant even before pressure shows up. And you wonder why the same patterns keep repeating. It is because your mind is practicing them every night. But here is the part nobody teaches you. You are not a prisoner to that replay. You are allowed to step in and change the ending. This is not about lying to yourself. This is not about pretending something did not happen. This is about understanding how the mind learns. When a memory is recalled, it becomes flexible. It opens up. And when it is paired with a new emotional experience, the brain updates it. That is how learning works. That is how fear unlearns itself. That is how confidence is rebuilt. So before sleep, you go back to one moment from your day. Just one. A moment that stuck with you. A moment that made your chest tight. A moment that made you think, I should have handled that better. And you look at it calmly, not to judge yourself, not to beat yourself up, just to observe. Then you change it. You say the words you wish you had said. You do not shout them. You do not rush them. You say them with clarity and strength. You see yourself standing upright. You feel your voice steady. You feel respect in your tone. You see yourself responding with calm instead of fear. You see your shoulders relaxed, your breathing slow, your eyes focused. The situation does not control you. You are present in it. Then you imagine the moment resolving peacefully. Not perfectly, peacefully. You see the tension ease. You feel the energy settle. You walk away whole. This is not fantasy. This is training. Psychology calls this memory reconsolidation. But all that really means is this. The brain updates stored experiences when they are revisited in a safe emotional state. That means you can literally teach your mind a new lesson about the same event. And listen to me carefully here. The brain does not store facts alone. It stores meaning. It stores emotion. It stores identity. When you change the emotional ending, you change what the event means to you. And when you change the meaning, you change how it affects you moving forward. Let me tell you about a teacher. Smart, dedicated, passionate. But every time she had to speak in front of adults, her body locked up. Her throat tightened. Her mind went blank. Once years ago, she froze during a presentation. People stared. Silence filled the room. That moment burned into her memory. And her mind replayed it night after night, teaching itself a lesson. Public speaking equals danger. Silence equals safety. She did not quit teaching, but fear followed her everywhere. Then she learned this practice. Every night she went back to that moment. But she did not stay frozen. She saw herself breathing. She saw herself speaking slowly. She saw herself finishing the sentence. She imagined the room listening. She imagined walking away steady. And night after night, she rewrote it. Months later, something changed. The fear lost its edge, not because the past changed, but because her inner narrative did. Her mind no longer treated speaking as a threat. It had practiced a new outcome so many times that calm became familiar. That is the power you are sitting on every night. Most people let their worst moments teach them the loudest lessons. You do not have to. You can choose what your unconscious remembers. Ask yourself this. When today gets stored tonight, what version do you want it to keep? The version where you failed and stayed there, or the version where you learned and stood back up? Because your unconscious mind does not know time the way you do. It does not know past or future. It only knows experience. And repeated experience becomes belief. If you let the day end on defeat, your mind will carry defeat forward. If you end the day with growth, your mind carries growth. This is not about perfection. This is about direction. You might still mess up tomorrow. You might still feel fear. But it will not own you the same way. Because your mind has seen another way. It has felt another ending. Some of you are carrying years of moments that never got resolved. Arguments you never finished. Words you never spoke. Chances you think you missed. And every night your mind opens those files again. No wonder you feel heavy. No wonder you feel stuck. Tonight you can start closing those loops. One moment at a time. One rewritten ending at a time. You do not need to fix your whole life before sleep. You just need to guide your mind instead of abandoning it. Before you drift off, ask yourself one powerful question. What version of today do I want my unconscious to remember? Then give it that version. Calm, strong, learning, whole. Because the story your mind tells itself tonight becomes the energy you wake up with tomorrow. Listen to me closely, because this part is where many people misunderstand their own power. Your unconscious mind is not against you. It is not trying to sabotage your growth. It is not your enemy. It is ancient. It is protective. It is loyal. And most importantly, it is literal. It does exactly what it has been trained to do. Nothing more. Nothing less. The problem is not that your unconscious mind is broken. The problem is that it has been receiving mixed signals for years. You say you want peace, but you rehearse stress. You say you want confidence, but you replay doubt. You say you want clarity, but you feed chaos. And your unconscious mind says understood and follows the pattern because patterns matter more than wishes. Your unconscious does not follow intentions you admire. It follows behaviors you repeat. It follows emotional habits you practice. It follows the tone you use when nobody else is around, especially at night. That is why control has not worked for you. You have been trying to dominate something that works best through partnership. You have been trying to force clarity when what you needed was cooperation. Before sleep, you are in the perfect position to make an agreement, not a demand, not a threat, an agreement. Think about how you would speak to a trusted guardian, someone strong, someone wise, someone who has been watching over you longer than you can remember. You would not scream at them. You would not insult them. You would speak clearly, calmly, with respect. That is how you speak to your unconscious mind. When you lie down and the noise of the day fades, you take a breath and you say, "Tonight, I allow myself to rest." You give permission. Many people never do that. They go to bed carrying guilt like rest must be earned. But rest is not weakness. Rest is strategy. Then you say, "While I sleep, organize what matters and release what does not." You are not telling your mind how to do it. You are trusting it to do what it does best. Sorting, processing, connecting. Then you say, "Show me solutions in calm and gentle ways." You are setting the tone. You are telling your mind, "Do not wake me with anxiety. Do not shake me with fear. Teach me quietly. Guide me softly." This is not magic. This is cooperation. People who do this consistently report waking up different. Not because life changed overnight, but because their inner state did. They wake up with ideas that were not there before, with emotional clarity that surprised them, with motivation that feels natural instead of forced. That is what happens when the ego steps aside and lets the deeper intelligence work. History is full of people who understood this even without modern language. Inventors who asked questions before sleep and woke up with answers. Writers who fell asleep with a problem and woke up with a sentence that solved it. Problem solvers who trusted the night to finish the work the day could not. They were not controlling their minds. They were collaborating with them. You see, your unconscious mind works all night anyway. The question is whether it works for you or against you. If you do not give it direction, it will default to survival. It will replay threats. It will scan for danger. It will hold on to stress because stress once meant protection. But when you speak to it clearly, it shifts roles. It stops guarding and starts building. It stops defending and starts creating. Some of you are exhausted because you are trying to control everything. Every outcome, every feeling, every thought. That level of control is not strength. It is fear disguised as discipline. You do not need to control everything. You need to collaborate. Collaboration means trust. Trust means letting go of the need to micromanage your inner world. Trust means believing that there is a deeper part of you that knows how to heal, how to connect dots, how to guide you forward. But trust also requires clarity. Your unconscious mind is literal. If you constantly replay worst-case scenarios, it will assume danger is priority. If you constantly dwell on what went wrong, it will assume mistakes are central. If you constantly fall asleep tense, it will assume tension is normal. So be clear. Tell it what matters. Tell it what does not. Tell it the pace you want to move at. Calm, steady, gentle. This is especially important if you've been living in survival mode. If stress has been your default, if your nervous system is used to urgency, you cannot just shut that off, but you can guide it. Night after night, simple words, same tone, same intention. Tonight I allow myself to rest. While I sleep, organize what matters and release what does not. Show me solutions in calm and gentle ways. You are not begging. You are not hoping. You are setting terms. And over time, your unconscious learns the new pattern. It learns that safety is allowed, that rest is productive, that clarity does not need panic. Some of you have never felt what it is like to wake up mentally rested. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally. That is possible when your night is not filled with silent commands and inner conflict. Your unconscious mind wants to help you. It always has. But it needs leadership, not force. Direction, not pressure. Partnership, not domination. When you stop fighting yourself and start working with yourself, everything shifts. Problems soften. Creativity increases. Energy returns. You do not need to fix everything tonight. You just need to start the agreement. Speak clearly. Speak respectfully. Then let go. Because the most powerful work often happens when you finally step out of the way. Listen to me closely, because this part right here is the difference between people who change their lives and people who stay stuck talking about change. You do not reprogram yourself by wishing. Wishing is passive. Wishing is hoping something outside of you will save you. Wishing is what people do when they are afraid to step into a new identity. Real change happens through rehearsal, through repetition, through embodiment. Right before sleep, you are not just resting. You are rehearsing who you are becoming. And most people rehearse the wrong version of themselves every single night. They go to bed feeling defeated, feeling small, feeling behind, feeling like life is happening to them. And then they wonder why they wake up feeling the same way. Because the mind accepts familiarity as truth. Your unconscious mind does not ask if something is good for you. It asks, is this familiar? If stress feels familiar, it becomes home. If chaos feels familiar, it becomes normal. If self-doubt feels familiar, it becomes identity. That is why people stay in patterns that hurt them. Not because they like pain, but because pain feels known. So this step is not about pretending to be someone you are not. It is about practicing the version of you that is trying to be born. Right before sleep, you feel it. Not imagine it like a movie. Feel it in your body. How does the person you are becoming sit in their own skin? Are their shoulders tight or relaxed? Is their breathing shallow or steady? Do they feel rushed or grounded? You have to feel it because the unconscious learns through sensation, not logic. Ask yourself, how does my body feel when I am calm and confident? How does my chest feel? How does my jaw feel? How do my hands rest? You slow your breathing. You let your muscles soften. You let your nervous system taste safety. You are not lying to yourself. You are training your system. Think about learning to drive. At first it feels awkward. You are tense. Everything feels unfamiliar. But the more you do it, the more your body learns. Eventually you drive without thinking. Calm. Automatic. Familiar. Identity works the same way. You fall asleep every night as someone. The question is who? Some of you fall asleep as the version of you that is tired of trying. Some of you fall asleep as the version of you that expects disappointment. Some of you fall asleep bracing for tomorrow like it is a threat. And your unconscious says understood and prepares you for exactly that. But when you start falling asleep as the person you are becoming, everything shifts slowly but deeply. You start to embody calm instead of chasing it. You start to carry strength instead of forcing it. You start to move differently because your inner posture changed. This is why affirmations fail for so many people. They say words, but their body is screaming something else. You cannot tell yourself, I am confident, while your shoulders are collapsed and your breath is tight. The unconscious believes the body, not the words. So you change the body first. You change the breath. You change the inner posture. You lie there and you breathe like the person who trusts themselves. Slow, deep, even. You feel grounded like the person who knows they can handle pressure. You feel settled like the person who does not need to prove anything tonight. This is not pretending. This is rehearsal. Athletes do this all the time. Before the game, they feel the win in their body. Not excitement alone, but familiarity, calm focus, presence. That is why they can perform under pressure. Because pressure does not feel new. It feels practiced. You can practice identity the same way. If you want to be disciplined, feel what discipline feels like before sleep. Not force. Structure, calm consistency. If you want to be confident, feel what confidence feels like. Not arrogance. Stability. Ease. If you want to be peaceful, feel peace in your nervous system before sleep. Not escape. Safety. Your unconscious accepts what feels familiar as true. So when you repeatedly fall asleep embodying a new inner state, your mind starts to accept it as normal. And once something becomes normal, it becomes effortless. This is why change feels hard at first. Because unfamiliar states feel unsafe, even if they are better for you. Your system says this is not who we are, and it pulls you back. But repetition changes that. Night after night, you show your mind a new version of home. And do not rush this. Do not force it. Even a few minutes is enough. Consistency matters more than intensity. Some of you are waiting to become confident before you act. But confidence is built by acting like someone who trusts themselves internally first. Some of you are waiting to feel calm before you rest. But calm is trained by resting in calm before it feels natural. This is backwards for most people. But it works. When you fall asleep feeling capable, your mind works all night aligning you with that identity. Your thoughts shift. Your reactions shift. Your choices shift. Not because you force them, but because they fit who you believe you are. And identity always wins. You can read all the books, watch all the videos, write all the goals. But if you keep falling asleep as the same version of you, nothing changes. Because the night is where identity is reinforced. Tonight you choose differently. Tonight you do not fall asleep rehearsing fear. You fall asleep rehearsing strength. You do not fall asleep carrying tension. You fall asleep practicing calm. You do not fall asleep as the person who is stuck. You fall asleep as the person who is becoming. And over time, the unfamiliar becomes familiar. And the familiar becomes real. Not because you wished for it, but because you practiced it every night when it mattered most. Every night, you cross a threshold. Most people walk through it unconsciously, but you, starting tonight, will walk through with intention. Not forcing, not fighting, but guiding. Remember this. You are not reprogramming your life. You are reintroducing yourself to your deeper mind, and it has been waiting for you to speak. Sleep well, and choose your final thoughts carefully.